Changing climate conditions are prominent in North America, and this year might be the worst year for the people living there. What's about to happen will shock you because this year might be the one when disaster strikes. Is North America about to suffer the worst disasters of all time? What is going to happen? The residents of Sydney had the wettest year in 2022 with a record rainfall that caused severe havoc accompanied with panic. The scientists decided to investigate the reason for the unusual weather, and their discovery will leave you alarmed. The Eastern Pacific Ocean is cooling and not warming. This goes against what popular scientists have been saying for years. 2022 was a terrible year for Australia and many other countries. It was a year of rain and floods. Some locations received more than half a meter of rain in a single day. Scientists were forced to calculate rainfall totals using partial data after floodwaters destroyed the monitors. The rain gauge in Lismore, which has been repeatedly flooded, was knocked out during the February floods and wasn't repaired for months. The Murray-Darling Basin, home to much of Australia's food production, was unusually wet last spring with an average rainfall total of just over 295 millimeters. Now this is something to be worried about as the amount of rainfall has doubled in just a year. It may be hard to believe, but before the rain started, Australia was suffering from heat waves of unprecedented measures. Australia experienced temperatures that could roast you alive. These hottest early months of 2022 were followed by record rainfalls and floods since 2011. The biggest problem was the floodwaters that took months to take their way downstream in flat inland regions such as Echuca, Victoria, which is less than 100 meters above the sea level and more than 1,500 kilometers from the Murray River mouth. The unusual appearance of La Nina complicated the matters at hand. La Nina appeared for the third year in a row in Australia. During normal conditions in the Pacific Ocean, trade winds blow west along the equator, taking warm water from South America towards Asia. To replace that warm water, cold water rises from the depths by the process of upwelling. El Niño and La Nina, which are two opposing patterns that break these normal conditions. Both of these can have global impacts on weather, wildfires, ecosystems, and economies. La Nina is a cold event. It has the opposite effect of El Niño. The whole Earth was in the grip of La Nina in December 2022. The current La Nina began in 2020 and returned for a third consecutive year, causing the Northern Hemisphere winter, resulting in a rare triple-dip event. Other triple-dip La Ninas recorded since 1950 occurred in 1998 to 2001, 1973 to 1976, and 1954 to 1956. La Nina events like El Niño have a global impact on weather, which is why when the Pacific sneezes, the entire world catches a cold. The effects of this natural phenomenon can be felt on either side of the Pacific Ocean. During the La Nina years, floods in northern Australia, Indonesia, and Southeast Asia are common, as is drought in the American Southwest. The current La Nina is linked to a number of disasters, which includes drought and food security issues in Africa, flooding in Australia, and drought in the United States. 2022 ended on a sad note for many people, courtesy of a powerful Arctic winter storm that swept through the US and Canada. Parts of both countries that were under weather alerts that stretched from coast to coast and as far south as the US-Mexico border. The storm brought damaging winds and freezing temperatures, which could quickly cause frostbite. In the US alone, at least 6 deaths were recorded related to the storm. The storm wasn't showing any signs of stopping, which led to cancellation of thousands of flights. Millions of people from Texas to Maine experienced power cuts due to power line damage caused by high winds. Canada was also under extreme cold and winter storm warnings from British Columbia to Newfoundland. Several Ontario school boards, including Toronto, were forced to cancel classes, and the storm brought the coldest Christmas in decades. Temperatures as low as -70 Fahrenheit were recorded, which was connected to several deaths due to poor road conditions. Many newly arrived undocumented migrants were sleeping on city streets. Even Florida, which is widely known for its warmth, had its coldest Christmas in 30 years. If 2022 was this destructive, you can possibly wonder what 2023 has in store for us. This means that you must be prepared for the coldest years anyone has ever seen. If global warming is a thing, then why is the world growing colder day by day? Is the world starting to experience the arrival of another ice age? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.